Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about controllers from Nintendo. We're going to compare each one and go and show off the pros of the controllers and the cons. And we're also going to be talking about which stuff I'm missing at the end. It will be like the it'll be a very small section of the video, but we're gonna talk about at the end the stuff I'm missing and what I still need to get, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start. We're gonna go ahead and do the original NES, and then we'll go on to the SNES, N64, GameCube, Wii, Wii U, and the Joy-Cons. So we're gonna go through the Switch, whatever you want to call it, either one. But for controller-wise, Joy-Cons. But we're going to go through and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I have to get the camera set up and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so these are the iconic NES controllers from 1985. As y'all can see, I have two right here, and we're going to be talking about pros and cons now. Pros. The controls are nice and they work. They're really, really responsive, and they just look amazing. Look at that. They're also in my YouTube icons. So obviously I like these, but they were also. I've had to get multiple different ones because they don't always work. So I guess that's a con. They don't. But that's due to age. You can't really be mad about them on age. So I'm gonna go and show y'all a con. A lot of people don't like the sides here because it's rectangular instead of rounded to fit your hands better. But I personally have never had a problem with it. It depends on your hands. In my hands, I feel comfortable holding it like kind of like a SNES controller, which we'll go into next. But I think it just feels nice to me, at least. Start and select buttons are nice, but this one is the better one, obviously, because it has the whole button there. I think no, yeah, here it is. Here's the select button. It doesn't have it all the way on there. They kind of came off, but other than that, they're both really good and responsive. They're so iconic too. So those are the NES controllers. Overall, they are very, very good controllers, and I definitely recommend them if you're getting a NES or starting a collection. So we're gonna go ahead and put the score I gave them on the screen right now. It is going to be a number based off 1 to 10, and obviously you know I'm probably gonna give it a good score, which obviously you know that. So let's go ahead and put that on. So as y'all probably know by now, most of y'all might know this. Some of y'all might not, because you might be new. Thank you for coming and maybe subscribing if you're new. But this is obviously the Super Nintendo Entertainment System controllers. Now, obviously, Nintendo really, really cared about their customers because Sega was getting a lot of the money. But they were in second compared to Nintendo, even with their just having the NES. So in 1991, they made this with the Super Nintendo, and they are amazing. They are great controllers, and I would definitely recommend them. They're a big step up from the NES controllers. Let me go ahead and pull one up and show y'all. So obviously, you can tell just how big of a difference it is. Instead of it just being a square shape, it's a dogbone shape, which is what they called the NES dogbone controller, which I might get sometime. But this thing just feels so good in your hands. It's just so nice. It feels comfortable with the L and R at the top and everything. They both are really responsive, and only one of my controllers here has a small problem, and that's where I can't remember which one it is, but you have to press like really hard on the button to press start. So other than that, though, they're both of these are working, and they're really good shape. So if you can find one, I recommend either one of them. So we're gonna go on to the next one, which I only have one controller so far, but yeah, we're gonna go on to the N64 next. But first, let's put up the score. Generation was ending. The Super Nintendo was coming to a end of its time, and 3D gaming was here. The Nintendo 64 controller, very iconic, but a little oddly shaped. You might be confused and want to actually stay away from this controller, but it's pretty good. It's really, really comfortable, and once you get the hang of it, it's really, really good too. Let's show on the back. You have the Z button there, you got the L and R at the top, but this, you might be confused at first, but this is for, like, extra data, or the rumble pack, or, other types of accessories. Sorry, I start sometimes, but, on here, the, main interface, the controller buttons, you have are the C, which will let you change the viewpoint of it, and then the A and B buttons, like the other controllers. You have the start button in the middle, the D-pad, which isn't really used too often, but you really couldn't make a controller without it. It's useful for games, of course. L and R, of course, most of the time you're going to use the R. The L is for most of the time just, like, games that use this D-pad here, which there aren't too many, but it's mostly 3D games that you're going to get for this. It's definitely worth a pickup and worth the games that are on here. This analog control stick, though, although it isn't the best in the world, it's very doable, and I think it's just fine for what it is. It's definitely made for the games it has on the console. And there's some great classics on here that you have to take a look at yourself. Overall, I think it's a really good controller, but I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because of this, the analog stick. Although, for the most part, it is a really good controller. So let's go ahead and just give it a nice rating on the screen here, and we'll go into the next controller. The Nintendo 64's graphics were outdated for the time at the early 2000s, so Nintendo decided to make the Nintendo GameCube, and the controller, of course, is very iconic, mostly due to Melee, but yes, it is the Nintendo GameCube controller. That's the original, right there. And then that is a Yobo, which I could not get a original at the time, so I had to get that, but it's doable. I'll show you the actual controller, and then I'll show you that, just because. So, as you can tell, if you hold it yourself, you'll realize how comfortable it is. It's so nice. It feels almost like a new controller today, and still plays very well to this day. It has 2 analog buttons there, and a little Z button there. It's not the best by any means, but it's fine. You have the A button, which is obviously important because it's so big. The B and the Y and X buttons are for, like, to change the viewpoints, and the C stick, which it's fine if you ask me. It's better than the N64 analog stick. And then this D-pad, though, is, like, really tiny, to be honest. It's, like, for ants. I mean, look. Compare that. Let's compare that D-pad there to the Yobo here. Sorry, I was just doing a test, button tester. It's still tiny, but it's better in small ways. So I guess in many ways this is a great controller. I have to compare the D-pad on there though to, like, the Game Boy. Let's compare that to see how different it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that real quick, and I'll come back. I have the Game Boy here, and let's compare the D-pad on this to that. I'll go ahead and pick that up and show y'all. There's the D-pad on the GameCube, which is very, very tiny. And here is the 1989 original DOS Game Boy. Look how tiny that is. It's not comfortable to press. And look at that. It's so comfortable. Man, they messed up on the D-pad, but Otherwise, then this is a great controller, and you should definitely get one today. Even if it is the original or something old, you know, just give it a chance. It's such a good controller. I need to get a purple one, because it's the original, but other than that, this one's fine, because it's still original, so, yeah, very, very well-made controller, and is still made for Super Smash Bros. Today, even on the Nintendo Switch, because Melee on the GameCube made a huge impact, and so does the controller. So, we're gonna go on to the next generation of console controllers.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Okay, so now Nintendo has passed on just gaming with a controller and has gone on to motion controls. Now, obviously, Nintendo has motion controls on other consoles, looking at you, Power Glove and U-Force. But those were not made by Nintendo, so they decided to make this console, and they outdid themselves with this. Let me show y'all the interface, and obviously you'll probably already know this, because you're probably not, you probably have already had this, or just know, but the controller is super well made. This just feels nice. This analog stick is nice here. The Z and C buttons are nice on here too. The A button, every button on here is just nice. It's just so well made, and the only thing I have to say about this is that the motion controls are not the best, but other than that, it's a really, really well-made controller. And I definitely would recommend picking up a original Nintendo Wii today. It's so classic, and there's so many great games on there. And I have, actually have eight of these things for one pair for 4 on the original Wii and 4 on the Wii U. So yeah, that actually brings up my next topic after we show this, the Wii U. So I'm going to go ahead and show the score on this, and then we'll go into the next thing. So Nintendo was ready to make a new console and a successor to the Nintendo Wii, but they ended up making this, and a lot of people hate it, a lot of people love it. I'm personally a huge fan of it. It's the Nintendo Wii U, and here's the gamepad. It is, I guess you could say, pretty. It's a brick. Okay, let's just say it's a brick, because this thing is huge. Look at the screen of this giant gamepad. It's very big, but it's very comfortable. It fits in your hands well. This right here on the side. It feels nice. It has good controls. And it actually has a lot of technology built into it. It has the Amiibo reader, D-pads, all kind of the analog, the sticks here, and then you have the A, X, Y, and B buttons, the start, select, the TV control. Like I can turn on my TV with this thing, which is amazing. You got the home button. I don't even think this was used for anything. Then on top, you have your headphone jack, which Apple doesn't like apparently. You have the AC adapter, so you can plug it in, and then you have that, which I don't know where my stylus went, but then you have the volume control here, which is like the 3DS, and then you have the trigger buttons on the top and the back there. Overall, very nice. It has a battery life up to 3 hours though, which is kind of a problem, considering that I use this a lot, so I have to switch back to the Wii remote a lot, or I just have to play on the charger, which kind of stinks if you ask me. So overall, really nice, but has some problems, so I'm gonna give it a good score and a okay score at the same time. Let's go ahead and put that score up, and we'll go on to the last 2 things, and that'll be today's video. Okay, so these are the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. They are amazing controllers, and they have a whole lot of technology built in. I think I would appreciate these controllers more if my controllers worked better. My controllers are having many problems with the left and the right analog the stick there, the control stick, sorry. And I'll show you what I mean by that. See, whenever I press, when I like want to move it on here, a lot of times these things will just not go the right way, or they'll just keep moving. So I have to get new ones, but at the same time, that's also extremely expensive, and I don't know if I can afford that now. And I really have to save up a lot to get that. So, other than that, though, besides that, these are really, really good controllers, and they are top-notch, great quality from Nintendo. They did a great job of this, too, here. So, on this, though, if you want to play just with your friends, if you want to play with your friends and you want to share them out, like I will do with my friends sometimes, they gave you these. Now, these are for if you want to play and you don't want to use these tiny little buttons that come on the side. You put them on, like this. Sorry, sometimes there, get that stuck. Okay, so now the controller feels like how it's supposed to feel. It feels really good whenever it has it on. I'll show you with the other one, too, so that y'all can get a visual reference of what this looks like whenever you are doing this. You got it on, and you have your friends. Now, you can do that with the other two if you wanted to, or you could just play by like this, and your other friends can get these little things, or you can all just have one each, and you can play 4 players together. So, overall, very, very nice controller design, and I don't think there's many problems with it besides mine and many others not working on the control stick. Yeah, I love these, so I'm gonna have to give it a 9.9 out of 10 instead of a 9.5 because these are just mostly good. I mean, the control stick problem might not be for everyone. A lot of people are having problems with it though, and a lot of people aren't. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it that score and put it on there. So that'll be today's video. Besides that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please try and share my channel to others, and hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.